Good day, my schoolers. Welcome to my school channel. My name is Alexandra. So right now in this channel, we'll be tackling the JAMB question for the subject English Language Year 2010. Please stay with us. Do not go anywhere, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to my school channel. So right now we will be attempting questions 74 to 93. Now let's begin with question 74. However, question 74 to 78 comes with a passage, so I advise you pause this video and click on the link in the description below. It takes you to my school website. There you can have access to the complete passage, or you can pause this video as it is being displayed on the screen. Do not forget to read carefully and understand the passage. Now moving on to question 74. The expression stress is an issue everybody can relate to experimentally means that option A, it is better understood when experienced. Option B, its problems can be solved by everyone. Option C, everyone avoids it. Option D, everybody encounters it. The answer to this question is option D. Now, if you've read this passage, you see that it's talking about stress, stress as a major health issue, the implication of stress, and what stress really is, the classification of stress, that is external stressors and internal stressors, and how we can manage and overcome stress in our everyday life. Now, in this question, we see the expression stress is an issue everybody can relate to experimentally, as used in the passage. Talks about everybody have experienced stress one way or the other. At some point in our life, we've all experienced stress. We know how stress can be, so it boils down to option D, everybody encounters it. So option D is the correct answer to this question. Question 75. Which of the following is true according to the passage? Option A, stress is mostly caused by internal factors. Option B, stress can only be avoided during relaxation. Option C, stress is better handled by the individual. Option D, the issue of stress can be solved with no effort. Okay, we can see that according to the passage, all of these options are wrong except for option C, stress is better handled by the individual. We learn from this passage that man is the cause of their own stress. Okay, stress is self-generated, is self-induced. We are the reason for our own stress, and so because we are the reason for it, we are the cause of it, we alone can handle it. Nobody else can handle this stress for us. We alone can tackle it, can manage it, can overcome it. So option C is the correct answer to this question. Question 76. According to the passage, the major step in controlling stress is option A, changing one's attitude to stressors. Option B, understanding the history of the disease. Option C, visiting family doctors for checkup and treatment. Option D, constant exercise to dissipate every energy. Option D is the correct answer to this question. Now, when attempting a question like this is a contextual question, and anything outside the context of the passage should not be applied to answering this question. So we need to stick to the passage. Now, what the passage says about controlling stress is that exercise is a good way of controlling stress and deep relaxation. Now, what exercise does is it evaporates the loss of energy, the excess energy that has been produced by the body through increased heart rate, fast breathing, muscle tension, increase in blood sugar, and all of that. So this occurs as a result of stress, and this is a production of excess energy. And what exercise do is it's a better place to channel all of those energies. So option D is the correct answer to this question. Question 77. The experts feel one can control one's stress because option A, its cause are understandable. Option B, it is not difficult to control. Option C, external factors contribute less to stress. Option D, it is individually initiated. The answer to this question is option D, as you can find this in the passage. Okay, so man can control stress only because it is initiated by man itself. Okay, stress is self-generated, and because it is self-generated, only man can control, manage, or overcome it. So option D is the correct answer to this question. Question 78. From the passage, it can be deduced that stress is option A, hormonal disorder in the body system. Option B, individually induced problems. Option C, bodily reaction to internal factors. Option D, bodily reaction to external factors. The answer to this question is option A, because it sums up other options. Okay, so according to the writer in the text, people think that stress is pressure at work, traffic, a demanding husband, child, or boss, and all of that. But it tells us that stress is our body reaction to all of these external factors, that is pressure and all of that. So the way our body reacts, and how do our body react? We begin to notice an increased heart rate, begin to notice muscle tension, blood pressure, increased blood pressure, faster breathing, and all of that. This is what stress really is. So this is in summary an hormonal disorder. Now a lot of people think of disorder, they attach the extreme versions of disorderliness when they think of the word disorder, and they think of madness or when someone is crazy. But disorder is anything that is not orderly, anything that is not accordingly. So option A is the correct answer to this question. Question 79 to 83 comes with another passage, so I advise you repeat the process of pausing this video and clicking on the link in the description below, which takes you to the Myschool website. There you can have access to the complete passage, or you pause this video as it is being displayed and read carefully, read properly, and understand the passage. Okay, so moving on to question 79. According to the writer, corruption is triggered off by option A, unnecessary affluence. Option B, selfish interest. Option C, private officials. Option D, public officers. The answer to this question is option D, public officers. And we can see that in this passage, if you've read this passage, the first paragraph gives reference to public officers. Okay, public officers are indicators with which corruptions can be measured or assessed. Okay, it talks about, the second sentence in particular talks about the affluent living habits of public officers, and then it talks about how public officers would expect to be induced to do their jobs. So, and in this context, in this sentence, you see that corruption is triggered off by, that is, it is activated by or pioneered by. The by is acting as an active agent, so it has to be a person. It has to be a person doing it. Okay, so option D is the correct answer to this question. Question 80. From the passage, one of the consequences of corruption is that option A, large projects are executed. Option B, it is beneficial to wealthy people who stole public wealth. Option C, it impedes the progress of a nation. Option D, people get what they want with so much money to spend. Now you see that from the passage, option C is the correct answer to this question. It impedes, that is, it prevents, it hinders, it delays the progress of a nation. And we can see the consequences of corruption was introduced in the text in paragraph 2, where it talks about corruption can slow down development, the development of a country or a nation, as the case may be. So option C is the correct answer to this question. Question 81. Who, according to the writer, should prevent corruption? Option A, lawyers and police. Option B, corrupt public officers. Option C, the government. Option D, the people. The answer to this question is option D. Now, if you've read the text, you see that the top paragraph presents a broad-based preventive measure by the writer to tackle corruption, and that is by the society. Okay, the society at large. So this can be summarized in option D, that is the people. So the people, when we're talking about the people, we're talking about the society at large. Okay, so option D is the correct answer to this question. Do not forget that you can take practice questions with our simulated JAMB CBT past questions, and all you need to do is you click on the link in the description below. It takes you to the Myschool website. There you can download Myschool mobile app for your Android phones and Myschool software for your computers and laptops. Please go ahead and download and start practicing. Now moving on to question 82. Which of the following is an indication of ethical standard of governance? Option A, fundamental human rights. Option B, socio-economic instability. Option C, democratic governance. Option B, bloated expenditure. The answer to this question is socio-economic instability. Now, from the passage, ethical standard of governance is negative. It has to do with embezzlement of public fund, diversion of fund. Okay, so in the context, the norms, the ethical standard of government is bad, is very bad. It's corruption. Okay, so the passage talks about raising the ethical standard of government. That is, raising in this sense means stopping the ethical standard of government. Okay, and it will lead to positive benefits. Okay, so the answer to this question, therefore, is socio-economic instability is an indicator of ethical standard of government in the passage, in the text, in the context. Okay, so option B is the correct answer to this question. I believe you're enjoying this content. If yes, do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and then tap on the bell notification to get informed as soon as we release the next videos. Question 83. The essence of fighting corruption according to the passage is to option A, send the corrupt to jail, option B, promote good governance, option C, punish corrupt politicians, option D, make people richer. The answer to this question is option B, promote good governance. Now, if you've read the passage, you see that the last paragraph leaves a final note of promoting good governance by fighting corruption. Okay, so it ends with the fact that we can promote good governance by fighting against corruption. So option B is the correct answer to this question. Now, the word jail, G-A-O-L, is the old version of the present J-A-I-L that we know. So this is the old-fashioned word for jail. So the new one is J-A-I-L. So option B is the correct answer to this question. Question 84 to 93 comes with another passage, a register. So I advise you repeat the process, pausing this video and clicking on the link in the description below, and there you find the complete passage, or you pause this video as it is being displayed on the screen. Now, do not forget to read the passage very well. Read it carefully and understand the subject. Now, if you've read this passage, you realize that the passage is talking about drought. Drought is a period of dryness or when there is no rain. Okay, now let's move on to question 84. In the question number 16 above, choose the best option from letter A to D that best completes the gap. Option A, ideology, option B, phenomenon, option C, idea, option D, component. Now, the answer to this question is option D, phenomenon. Now, the part labeled 16 is meant to describe an occurrence, an event, and we see that phenomenon is synonymous to these words that I've just used. Okay, when we talk about ideology, idea, it has to do with principles, belief, and they are abstract in nature. But when we talk about drought, drought is an occurrence. It's something that's happening that we can physically behold. So the answer to this question is option B, phenomenon. Question 85. In question number 17 above, choose the best option from letter A to D that best completes the gap. Option A, feedback, option B, results, option C, implication, option D, outcomes. The answer to this question is implication. Now, if you read the part labeled 17, you see that the part is supposed to describe a result drawn out of something. So, and that is what implication is. Implication is a conclusion, a suggestion, a result drawn out of something. Now, when you see the context, it talks about a drought accompanied by unpleasant developments, and these developments have implications. So the answer to this question is option C, implication. Question 86. In question number 18 above, choose the best option from letter A to D that best completes the gap. Option A, managed, option B, manipulated, option C, examined, option D, studied. The answer to this question is managed. Now, the part labeled 18 is meant to describe controlling or something being controlled. Now, drought is to be controlled. Now, in the context in which this word is to be used describes a situation. That is, drought can develop into a crisis situation if not successfully controlled. So, a word synonymous to control is managed. So, if not successfully managed, it can develop into a crisis situation. So, option A is the correct answer to this question. Do you have questions you would like to ask? You can go ahead and ask your questions by using the link provided in the description below. Please click on this link. It takes you to the Myschool website. There you can ask as many questions as possible, and solutions will be provided to you within a short period of time. Now, moving on to question 87. In question number 19 above, choose the best option from letter A to D that best completes the gap. Option A, objects, option B, subjects, option C, issues, option D, topics. The answer to this question is topics, because the part labeled 19 is meant to describe a matter that is meant to be discussed, a matter that should be discussed or dealt with, and this is what topic entails. Okay, it's a subject, a conversation, or a matter that needs to be dealt with or discussed. Now, in the context in which it is being used, you see that there's a situation that has become topics of considerable anxiety. You cannot have subjects of considerable anxiety. It should be topics of considerable anxiety to all people, to the people. So option D is the correct answer to this question. Do Do you have better steps, explanation, or solutions to any of this question? If yes, feel free to use the comment section below. Indicate the question and the solutions you would like to share. Question 88. In the question number 20 above, choose the best option from letter A to D that best completes the gap. Option A, amount. Option B, supply. Option C, size. Option D, flood. The answer to this question is option A, amount. Now, the part label 20 is meant to measure rainfall. Okay, it's a measurement of rainfall. And how do we measure rainfall? The best word to use in this context is amount. So, amount of rainfall, not supply of rainfall, not size of rainfall, not flood of rainfall. It should be amount of rainfall. So, the answer to this question is option A, amount. Question 89. In question number 21 above, choose the best option from letter A to D that best completes the gap. Option A, effective. Option B, disastrous. Option C, evidence. Option D, inevitable. The answer to this question is disastrous, because the part number 21 is meant to describe something causing great damage or great harm. Now, in this context, you see that the consequences of drought-prone areas are disastrous. They cause great damage. So the answer to this question, or the best diction to use, the best choice of words to use in this context, is option B, disastrous. Question 90. In question number 22 above, choose the best option from letter A to D that best completes the gap. Option A, routine. Option B, organized. Option C, urgent. Option D, delay. The answer to this question is option B, organized. Now, why is this so? Now, we see that in this context, it talks about two ways of coping with drought, and number one is emergency measure. Emergency will mean that something done without plan. Okay, something done urgently without plan. And the second measure is organized, should be organized measure, because organized would mean something that you have to plan before you do. So those are the two ways of coping: one emergency and one organized. So one unplanned, the other planned. So the answer to this question is option B, organized. Question 91. In question number 23 above, choose the best option from letter A to D that best completes the gap. Option A, longitudinal. Option B, objective. Option C, simultaneous. Option D, parallel. Now, the answer to this question is parallel. Parallel means occurring side by side. Now, this context talks about lasting and parallel consequences. That is, it's supposed to describe consequences that occur side by side. Okay, the consequences of droughts occurring side by side. So the best answer to this question is option D, parallel. Now, when we talk about simultaneous is occurring at the same time. Objective means something that is factual or applies to logic or reasoning. Longitudinal has to do with lengthwise. So option D is the correct answer to this question. Question 92. In question number 24 above, choose the best option from letter A to D that best completes the gap. Option A, action. Option B, process. Option C, scheme. Option D, plan. The answer to this question is option C, scheme. Scheme, when we talk about scheme has to do with a plan, a program that is designed for a particular cause. Okay, so in this particular context, it describes a relief scheme that is designed by the government to ensure that farmers are secured and their produce are secured. So option C is the correct answer to this question. Question 93. In question number 25 above, choose the best option from letter A to D that best completes the gap. Option A, normal. Option B, correct. Option C, idealistic. Option D, effective. The answer to this question is effective. Effective would mean that something is produced with a desired result. Now, in this context, it talks about emergency measure. So emergency measure will be effective if certain things are placed or put in order. So option D is the correct answer to this question. We've come to the end of this wonderful segment, and I believe you enjoyed every bit of it. Please do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and then tap on the bell notification to get informed as soon as we release the next videos.